first of all, and as this is our first time participating on a summit like we are here today, I don't know if you are hearing me. Okay, good. I would like first to thank the organizers of this event, the magazine, African Investor Magazine, as well as the NYSC and the Euronext, for the opportunity and honor that the Angolan delegation has to share some of the recent developments of our economy, as well as the approach that the government is taking in the implementation of the national development plan. And I would possibly address, give you a very brief overview on our recent developments, starting from the impact of the crisis in Angola in 2009, 2008. We were growing at a very fast pace before the impact of the crisis. Angola was, before 2002, in a long period of war. And after 2002, we were able to indeed initiate a very comprehensive approach for the development and growth of our economy. So between 2002 and 2008, the idea was based on two pillars, mainly, which were the reconstruction of the country, as well as the macroeconomic stability as ways for sustainable growth. Indeed, we were able to reach those objectives until the impact of the crisis in 2008, 2009, which indeed evidenced the need for our enhancement of our macroeconomic framework, as well as the way for diversification of our economy. The Angolan economy, as you know, is very dependent on the oil production and exploration. It accounts for 76% of our budget revenue, as well as 98% of our exports. And that dependency was extremely evident during the period of crisis, where the revenue, the fiscal revenue, as well as the revenue from the exports declined dramatically. So that raised the issue of having or introducing and accelerate the process of diversification of our revenue streams, both on the fiscal side and the external accounts, and obviously continue the stabilization process in our economy, providing that we had a decrease process of on our inflation, but obviously allowing growth to happen within the economy. Our international reserves have been growing since 2002, and from 2002 until 2008, the reserves grew 10 times during that period. The reason for that was the domestic savings coming from the fiscal surpluses, as well as the current account surpluses, which were elements that provided the opportunity for growth on our reserves. Obviously, that the crisis had an impact on those reserves, on the public savings side, and the idea of establishing the fiscal buffers and the macroeconomic buffers to continue support the need for public investments by the country, and obviously contributing for the growth, was one of the main concerns of the government during the preparation of this new national development plan. So we are currently addressing not only the issue of having the continuous opportunity for investment on the infrastructure, which is one of the challenges that most of the countries in the emerging markets face, and obviously trying also to improve the quality or the stability of our financial system and our macroeconomic framework. So we are currently addressing three main issues or three main areas which are under extreme or very deep structural adjustment. Obviously, one is the macroeconomic framework and the improvement of our macroeconomic framework, both on the fiscal side as well as on the monetary and external account side. And a third element there, obviously, the the dissemination and the transparency issue on the data that the government is putting across and available to any investor or international partner. On the financial system regulatory and supervisory framework, we've been very active and at the central bank level, and obviously we have also on this panel some colleagues from other regulatory entities which have been addressing issues on the convergence of the Angolan regulatory framework to the international standards. So we are now completing Basel II principles implementation, as well as addressing Basel III, and we have the Capital Markets Commission and the Insurance Commission being now established, moving forward towards the openness of those two important segments on our financial system. Currently, the banking system in Angola comprises 23 banks, and it's the most, or the biggest sector on our financial system. It accounts for 98% of our financial system. So when we talk about our banking industry or even our financial system, we are talking about a very liquid and a very robust financial system with no leverage coming from any debt instruments or even capital openness of our financial institutions. And that's why, and giving the sense of need to continuously invest in the infrastructure of the country and also on education, we have to converge to the international standards, allowing our financial institutions to also participate on the global capital markets, and obviously allowing investors to also participate on our domestic market. On the market infrastructure and market integrity, very profound changes have also been introduced. In 2011, we finalized the financial system assessment program by the IMF, which gave us a clear vision of what are the challenges for development of our national payment system and also the clearance system. One important element there on the market integrity is obviously the issue of compliance, AML and CFT, which Angola have been addressing with a very strong sense and high-level commitment of establishing a very strong and comprehensive AML and CFT system. I would stop here and wait for any questions, and we'll be pleased to come back to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that introduction and that overview of Angola today. I'd like to start with the questions that we have before us to our panelists. And again, I'll come back to you, Dr. Abreu. We've heard a lot about the establishment of the Sovereign Wealth Fund in Angola, and we'd like you to tell us a bit about the fund, outline the investment policy framework that the fund will be pursuing, and talk to us about some of the co-investment opportunities that exist for global institutional investors to participate. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, the idea of establishment of the Angolan Sovereign Wealth Fund is not new. During or before the impact of the crisis, discussions arise in regards of the establishment of a savings instrument, because the Angolan international reserves are growing at a very fast pace. As I mentioned before, they grew between 2002 to 2008 10 times. So in 2002, we were at a level of $2.3 billion in terms of international reserves. In 2008, we reached the $20 billion mark. So the idea was to establish a savings instrument that would allow for the future generations, saving for the future generations. Obviously, that the impact of the crisis indeed postponed the establishment of such instrument, because in the end of the day, the crisis and the dramatic reduction on the fiscal revenue endanger partially some of the infrastructure investments which were actually on the way. So the idea improved, and currently the scenario is that the Sovereign Wealth Fund would have these two main roles. One, obviously the role of a savings for future generations, but also contributing for the sustainable investment on the infrastructure projects and very strategic projects of the country. So those are the main two roles of our Sovereign Wealth Fund. Obviously, and during that time, government was also able to establish the stability buffers on our fiscal framework and also monetary and external accounts. So this Sovereign Wealth Fund will not have a stability role. We have other instruments to provide the stability role. The Sovereign Wealth Fund of Angola will be mainly dedicated to savings for future generations, whereby investing on a diversified portfolio of assets, and on the other side, obviously looking into the continuous sustainability of investment in infrastructure. Obviously that looking on both sides of the asset liability framework, the public-private partnerships would be obviously very welcome and positive in the sense of allowing a stronger contribution on the infrastructure investment side of Angola and the continuity of those projects, and obviously on the sense of investment on the diversified portfolio of assets. Well, we will have the various stakeholders and playmakers in the international global capital markets. Obviously, the main concern of the Angolan government now is maintain the social and political stability, as well as the macroeconomic stability as sources of attraction and opportunity for international investors. But obviously, we need to have also the sense that we are talking about a country which only had 10 years of opportunity to establish a comprehensive national development plan. So we are still a country working in progress to, in the end of the day, position ourselves as one of the major economies in sub-Saharan Africa.
Thank you, Dr. Abreu.
Doing business in Africa. You can't afford to be without Africa Investor.